The status quo remains unchanged at the Cairns Cup in St. Louis. American Alice Lee is on a roll, getting another win to stay hot on the heels of leader Zhongyi. Can she overtake the international superstar? Day 7 of thrilling chess, coming up next.
Hello chess fans and welcome to Day 7 of the Cairns Cup. Things are heating up as we enter the final stretch of the tournament. Zhongyi remains the sole leader, but the young Alice Lee is trailing behind with just half a point away. What will round 7 bring? Let's join our commentators and follow all the action.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Cairns Cup. I'm Paikidze and I'm here with Almira Skripchenko. Almira, we're getting closer and closer to the finish line.
Hello Nazi, hello everyone. 3 rounds left. We can feel the tension here. Alice Lee is getting closer. Will she be able to defy the odds and bring home the trophy? We will find out, Nazi.
We'll just have to wait and see. And tell us about the standings after 6 rounds.
So let's have a look at the standing, and Zhongyi is leading the event with 4.5 points out of 6, but Alice Lee won one of the most important games in her life and she has 4 points out of 6. 3 players are chasing them: Bibisara, Assaubayeva, Divya, Deshmukh and Stavroula, Tsolakidou with 3.5 points out of 6. Muzychuk and Carissa are on 50%, and then we can find Humpy, Koneru and Vaishali, Rameshbabu with 2 points out of 6, and Alexandra Kosteniuk made her second draw yesterday. She has 1 point.
And tell us about the format of this event.
The format of this event is a classical 10-player round robin. So players get 90 minutes for the first 40 moves, then they get 30 minutes for the rest of the game, and there is a 30-second increment starting from move 1. There are no draw offers. You get 1 point for a win, half a point for a draw, and 0 if you lose a game.
And not much left, but remain in schedule.
So 3 rounds to go, and if the tournament is tied, then we will have playoffs on the 20th of August.
Thank you, Almira. And you already highlighted that we have a sole leader, Zhongyi, but Alice Lee is not far behind, only a half-point gap between them. So let's take a look at their road aheads to see what's in store for them. We'll start with Zhongyi. She today faces Divya, Deshmukh with the black pieces, a tough round for sure. Then Bibisara, Assaubayeva with the white pieces, and in the last round, the newcomer to the Cairns Cup, Stavroula, Tsolakidou with the black.
Yes, not an easy road ahead because she's facing players who are performing very well, so you can see that all of them are tied for third, and every move will make a difference.
Absolutely, and now let's have a look at Alice Lee's road ahead. She's the youngest player in this event, but she's performing so well. Today she's facing Muzychuk with the white pieces. Tomorrow, World Championship challenger Vaishali, who is struggling in this event. And last but not least, her friend and rival Carissa.
Yes, and I can hear the American fans chanting, supporting their players, but I think they're looking forward to this 9th round.
We're going to have a great finale for sure. Almira, tell us about the upcoming pairings for today.
So the most important information, the crucial information we're all waiting for, is that Divya Deshmukh is playing with the white pieces against Zhongyi. Alice Lee, also with the white pieces, is taking on Muzychuk. Then Bibisara, Assaubayeva will try and break Stavroula, Tsolakidou. Both players, by the way, didn't lose a single game. Vaishali, Rameshbabu is playing against Carissa, and Alexandra Kosteniuk has the white pieces against Humpy, Koneru.
And tell us what these players are fighting for.
This tournament is featuring one of the most impressive prize funds that I have ever seen, $250,000 in total, and the first place gets $60,000. Second place gets $50,000, and the third place is awarded $40,000, and there is a winner's bonus, $5,000.
Great motivation for the players to fight for the top places. Thank you to all the sponsors. And let's take a look at the playing hall. I think, wow, Tanzhong is the only player there.
Like, okay, Fabiano is walking in, but as we all know, this is the first time in history of both events that they're organized together at the same time. So we went to the playing hall. Actually, it felt like a sanctuary, chess sanctuary, you know, it's like religious silence. And Zhongyi is getting ready. Do you think that she's anxious to play?
I think she's such an experienced player, and she's one of the players who's already won Cairns Cup before, so I think she's feeling calm. She has black pieces today, and she's going to wait for her opponent to try and press, and if she gets her chance, she'll fight back for sure.
Of course, but she's playing against Divya, Deshmukh. I will tell you more about it. But they've played a dramatic match in the World Cup. Divya defeated Tan, and Divya went on to win the World Cup last year. So probably
tough opponent for her for sure.
It's a tough opponent, but in their overall score, actually Tan is leading. So she can be optimistic today.
Yeah, we're going to have a very exciting game here because Divya is one of the players who always plays for a win. She doesn't like to make draws, just like most of the younger players in the event.
Of course, and just to mention that the players, of course, are getting ready, but they have to pass through security to get to their chessboard. The fair play rules.
Of course, we take it very seriously here in St. Louis. And Anna Muzychuk, she has all draws. And I don't think this is first time. She's such a solid player. She very rarely loses, and if she gets a chance, of course, she's going to fight for a win. Her opening preparation, absolutely top level. And can anyone defeat her?
Well, if anyone, then it must be Alice Lee, because, of course, she is looking for a win in this game with the white pieces, because with only 3 games left, she needs to score 2.5 points at least to win the event and also to make her grandmaster norm.
I think she needs 2 points for the GM norm.
Only 2 points, yes. Okay, so this is like, 2 points out of 3. Okay, it's easy. But then she needs to capitalize on her white pieces.
She does, and we have Humpy Koneru. I'm sure it doesn't feel great when you haven't won a single game in the event, especially when you are as strong as Humpy. She's at -2. What's the strategy? How can she finish this tournament well?
The thing is that she's playing against Alexandra Kosteniuk, who started with 4 losses. So Alexandra is also looking for her first win in this event. And I think the most important thing is to be motivated, to take like a game like as a unique, phenomenon. So she actually told us in her interview, so 1 game at a time, and she will see how it goes. Alexandra Kosteniuk is there.
Yeah, she's also, of course, looking for her first win. So I think both Alexandra and Humpy want to win today. They don't want to make a draw. They want to finish the tournament well. Alexandra is such a fierce competitor, and you've mentioned Almira. She's one of the players who has most titles in the chess world.
Of course, and Alexandra is also known for her uncompromising combative style. So there is no way that you can make a draw against her with the black pieces.
She's been an inspiration for so many chess players, myself included.
And even Bibisara Assaubayeva admitted in an interview that Alexandra inspired her in so many ways. And when she was 4, she saw Alexandra being crowned on television, and that was the defining moment. When she was 4 years old, she said, "I want that crown."
That's a great story. And in this tournament, I think Bibisara, did she win against Alexandra or did they draw?
No, she beat Alexandra. Yes. That was the only game that Bibisara won, and she's playing with the white pieces against Stavroula, Tsolakidou. Like a very solid performance for her first Cairns Cup.
Absolutely, it's so tough to come here and play this event for the first time. Alice, however, not her first time. She did very well last year, was only half a point away from the Grandmaster norm, and this year she needs 2 out of 3 remaining games to make her first GM norm.
Yes, and she was on the verge of winning this event also last year. Yes.
Oh, look at them. They're wearing the same shirt. I think that's what they're laughing about. They're both wearing that Cairns Cup shirt.
Because I don't know how can it happen, but Alice will face Carissa in the last round. In the 2025 Cairns Cup, they faced each other also for the trophy. Maybe they're asking Divya to switch shirts. So you can see Teresa Pribanova.
It's nice to see them in good spirits, because once the clock starts, they all become so serious and don't really smile until the end of the game, maybe. But
if you're superstitious, Nazi, like I don't know if any of those players have their own superstitions. A lot of chess players are known to be superstitious. But how can you interpret this moment? You know, when you're wearing the same shirts.
It's pretty rare to show up with the same outfit as your opponent, but because St. Louis Chess Club gives this kind of a uniform from the tournament, I do see a couple of players wearing the same shirts on the same day, so it's not a crazy coincidence.
At the same time, whenever I wear the Cairns Cup apparel, you know, like in Paris, everyone like is asking me, well, how can we get it, you know? Where did you get it?
The games are off. Alice again starts with knight f3. This has been her choice, her preference in this event. Normally she's a d4 player, but she likes to test her opponents with this move order.
Yes, and this is a very flexible move order because it allows you to avoid a few theoretical lines. Anna, for a long time, was a Grunfeld player. You know, she now plays a variety of openings, but at some period of their careers, Anna and her sister Maria were playing exclusively the Grunfeld defense. So let's see what will be Anna's choice in this game. You know, she's pausing a little bit.
Although knight f3 cannot be a surprise to her, because I believe Alice started every white game with knight f3, and here we have c4. If Alice was an e4 player, she could transpose to Sicilian, but we're going to see c4 and some type of English opening.
You anticipated Alice's move. You said c4, and it's on the board. But the thing is, like, she could have played e4, and then it would have been a Sicilian.
Yeah, but she's not an e4 player, so that's why I was sure she was not going to go for it. Unless suddenly she decided to switch from d4 to e4 overnight. Big switch.
And knight c6. So will Alice play d4 here?
Knight c3. She'll probably fianchetto her bishop with g3, because after all, she's a Catalan player at heart.
Yes, it is interesting also what will be the choice of Anna here. She can play knight f6, and we will have a position which is completely symmetrical, of course.
There's so many moves here: e6, g6, d6, knight f6, just endless options. As you can see on our screens, there's 23,000 games.
I played g6 on several occasions as well, but then knight f6 is on the board. Okay, so Alice needs to deviate, yes? But if you play g3, black can play g6, and the symmetry continues.
And of course, I guess g3
is
as well.
On the board.
And look at their roads so far. Anna Muzychuk, all draws. Alice Lee started with 2 wins. She had 1 defeat in round 4. She recovered from that. She almost beat Zhongyi, but that game ended in a draw. And then yesterday, one of the most important wins in her career, beating Koneru with the black pieces.
And the only decisive game between those two was actually played here in 2024 when Anna defeated Alice. So
2 years ago, so Alice was 14 years old. All right, let's check how other games are going. I'm going to jump to Vaishali against Carissa Ip. An interesting opening. We have, so it started as Jacopiano.
But knight f6, d4, d5 is a theoretical.
This move, next move is what shocked me. I haven't seen knight d7 here before. How about you, Almira?
Knight d4. Well, it's a very rare continuation, so I think Carissa is playing for a win. Maybe in this game she's trying to surprise her opponent. So if she gets a chance, yes, then to have, maybe she's accepting to have a worse position.
Maybe. 97 is not the most rare I see in the database. There's still
it was played
600
already.
games. It's second most common move. I haven't seen any other move besides 94. I think everybody goes for this line.
But then look at Vaishali.
After 97, Castle was played, and Carissa loves to surprise her opponents in the opening.
The thing is, like after 94, you know all your next moves. Maybe after 97, so I was thinking, in this variation, will a white take on c6, and they always go for the structure or not? What do you think after, let's say, bishop b7?
Yeah, let's take a look. Take knight d4, and black can go knight b8. It's crazy to say that this is the idea of knight d7, but
so the knight from g8 went to b8.
Isn't that funny?
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, and Vaishali goes for bishop c6, so we might actually see
this position
variation
most likely to happen. We'll see after knight d4 if Carissa goes knight b8. You know, if you played the opening like this 100 years ago, they would strip your IM title or GM title. But now, thanks to engines, everything is playable.
Yeah, I think that my coach would just chop my head off. So like this would be the end of my career.
Yeah.
But I think that our opening approach changed also with computer analysis, of course, and we're getting more and more creative. So many positions which were considered worse are now playable.
Unplayable, yeah. And Vaishali is not surprised at all. She's blitzing her moves out. She's seen this line before. Queen f3. Let me check how many games in the database. About 45 still.
Nazi, by the way, Vaishali and Carissa, they played a dramatic match during the last World Cup. I was commentating it, so it was a 6-game match, nerve-wracking, and Carissa was winning at some point, but she went on losing this match. So, like in their classical games, they made 2 draws.
And then Vaishali knocked her out in the playoffs.
And then so they don't have many decisive games between each other.
I was expecting c4. I thought that was the idea of queen f3 to keep some pressure on this diagonal. But we see knight c3.
Oh, I thought that queen f3 was played with the idea of supporting knight f5, maybe transferring the queen to g3. We see this
so
example, often in the Sicilian, yes, but we don't expect to do so like in the Jokopian or Lopez.
Show that c5 here would be a blunder. You simply take on d5. And this rook is hanging in the corner. We do have a move. a5 was played.
It's not very often that in the opening stage we see 134 and 131 on the clocks.
In a rare opening, yes. If they're playing something very common, that's understandable, but it's such a niche line that they both seem to know very well.
And they're blitzing out their moves. So Carissa is going.
Speaking of queen f3, there's another game I want to check. Divya, Deshmukh, and Zhongyi, our leader. There's also queen on f3. I'm going to back up to see the beginning. Oh, second move, knight c3. Have you ever played this, Almira?
Yes, I did. I have to plead guilty because I've tried everything against the e5. So there was a moment where I played knight c3.
And then f4?
Yes, f4. But then d5 is the perfect reply. Of course, we have it also in the king's gambit. Sometimes like you play d5.
You can start with f4 on the second move. That's the king's gambit. All right. And queen f3 here. Is that one of the most common moves? Knight f3 is definitely the top choice. Queen f3 also played many times.
Well, challenging the knight immediately. I like this approach.
Could black play f5? Actually, but f5 was played about 200 times.
Yes, but after d3, what do? You're forced to take anyway. Or you're going to g5 and e6. Like,
no, we're going to take. Yeah, I just got f5 in. Who knows if that's helpful or not. But, of course, Tan just took on c3 and went knight c6.
Yeah, because you're forced to take it because the pawn on d5 is hanging. Yes, you can't even afford the tempo there. So, like, I like how Tan approaches this position, but I'm pretty sure that she knows this line. So those two, as I mentioned, played also a dramatic match in the World Cup. However, I've analyzed a few of their games, and overall, Tan, of course, is leading in their encounters, and she's a very difficult opponent for Divya because she, even in the game she lost, she was winning. So Divya, of course, has to take this into consideration, and she tried to surprise Tan directly in the opening. So maybe we will see this move bishop b5 again.
Let's take a look if she goes bishop b5. If black wants to go to the endgame, trade queens, can she do queen h4 check? And follow it up with queen e4 if you go g3.
So if I go g3, yes, let's say queen e4, you take on e4. I will try to develop. I'm not sure I can take on c6 now because like all my light squares are...
Yeah, my bishop would go to a6 after that.
Not controlled at all. So knight e2, and then will you play bishop d7 to avoid bishop
and I'm
c6?
also preparing long castle.
So bishop f4 maybe, and you will castle long. Yeah, I have to protect the pawn. Okay, bishop f4.
Sorry, my mouse is not working with me today at all.
Resisting you, Nazi. I think that's the only thing
to fight it.
which can resist you. So, like castle long, then you might have bishop g4. It's a very unusual structure. So, both colors have their pawns on e4 and e5. But however, it will be very difficult for white to defend. So I'm thinking about rook e8, and I will force you to take on c6, Nazia. So can I take on c6 here? If I take on c6, like, what am I doing next?
And then knight d4?
Maybe knight d4, yeah. Like, but then bishop d5, and I didn't know how to continue. Then I will have probably to castle long.
But let's try to read their body language, Almira. Tan is not that surprised with the opening choice of knight c3 and f4, the Vienna.
Actually, bishop b5 is on the board, and I feel Tan, she has a look. It's a Hawkeye, you know. She's like she's always aware of the slightest changes in the position. Look at this. So bishop b5 is on the board, but she's already looking at queen h4. I feel, you know, she's looking on the left side of the board. So,
of course, she doesn't have to trade the queens. She could simply develop her bishop on c5, for example, and castle short. We only consider the lines where we quickly exchange the queens and castle long. But if you want to keep the queens on the board, it depends on your preference as a player. Some players like to have queens on the board as long as possible. Some like to trade early in the opening.
But I feel that castling short is very risky in this position because, as you can see, with this pawn fortress, the 4-pawn fortress on the queen side, I think that Divya is planning to castle long. And look at this open f-file, bishop f4, knight e2, knight g3, knight h5. There are so many aggressive moves for white in this position. So I think that Tan has to be very careful. Then you cannot play bishop d7 because I will take on d5, I think. So this is a simple refutation. So maybe like queen h4 has to be played out of necessity. Otherwise, what can you do? Bishop c5, then maybe even bishop, no, even queen g3, like protecting the pawn. And if you castle, I can play bishop h6 and castle long, knight f3.
What other game has caught your eye, Almira?
Yes, maybe let's move to another game, and I think we have a very interesting opening in between Alexandra Kosteniuk and Humpy Koneru, because it seems that in a way, they pursue a theoretical battle, but I wanted to give you a very interesting fact. So Alexandra and Humpy have played each other for the first time in 2002. Can you imagine? This was like, and Humpy won their first 6 encounters with some draws in between. So how long do you have to wait to beat someone in chess, Nadia? What do you think?
Years?
Years. So Alexandra had to wait for 21 years to beat Humpy in their first classical game. And I've checked the database like 1,000 times, and it actually happened here in 2023 Cairns Cup.
Wow,
We know be patient.
How it is. We all chess players have that opponent that you can never beat, but to wait 21 years to get your first win, I mean, that's incredible.
Of course, but you know, the thing is that there were a few rapid and blitz games that Alexandra won, but in classical chess, yes, this, and they also played during the FIDE World Cup last year, and Humpy won that match, but this match was also dramatic. So let's have a look. I was talking about the Gioco Piano. Humpy has played this variation already against Alexandra Kosteniuk, like I analyzed this game, and I was thinking, will she repeat it? Because she's chosen the Berlin since. So, and look at this move. After bishop b7, rook e1, Black is all forced to play f6 here.
Move we normally try to avoid as much as possible.
And Alexandra replied c3 almost immediately.
Question, could she have tried immediately d4? I just trying to punish the f6 move.
Yes, this is the idea. Of course, Alexandra decided to prepare it. So we can see that white is controlling this like diagonal, and black cannot castle if I play knight b6. But I think maybe Humpy has to play knight b6 here, or start with bishop g4. So if you take on e5, then I will like take with the knight. But I think you should try to start with knight b6 here, Nazi, because now I can see that I cannot take it. So it's like, let's move.
Knight b6?
No. Oh, yes, here. Like you have to make a move because the knight is hanging. So bishop b3 of, bishop b5, then probably I can castle.
Okay, well,
I thought bishop b3, here. But then I have to go, like, maybe I can take on d4 and to go for the pawn. Like
I think I should have enough compensation given. Are you trading queens?
Maybe I have to, because I'm not sure that I have to allow queen h5 here.
Yeah, so you don't have castle. Well, you want to castle long, but it will still take you a couple of moves.
I think this is the line that I've seen already a few times. So I think that you can castle, but you have to play bishop f5 or king d7. I think first bishop f5, and then
get my
if you
pawn
take,
back.
yes, and yes, this has been played already. Now I'm sure, and black is trying to defend this position.
Not easy. It doesn't seem easy unless you know this. You've analyzed it with the computer and practiced it before.
By the way, Nazia, like I'm having this déjà vu. This is probably the variation they played in the Cairns Cup, and Alexandra won the beauty prize, like she made it Humpy on the board. Yes. So, okay, I will check it, of course. But she played c3.
Bishop g4, and now went d4. But now could Humpy go queen d7 and long castle right away? So I'm giving you the pawn as a sacrifice, and I'm ahead in development.
Well, it's a very interesting try. Okay, what can I do here? Knight.
You need to develop the queen side somehow.
We've seen this move bishop b5 a few times
like another
today.
tempo we're wasting,
yes,
but
of
I
course.
understand the idea. Yeah, you're stopping me from playing 95. And if I provoke you to take?
I was afraid actually that if I would have played knight d2, then you have those knight f4 jumps. So what else can? And if I play bishop a4? Like, I'm not sure.
I want to be brave.
Can you play b5 here?
It feels like a crime to play b5 on my kings here.
But I have an intermezzo. I can take on f6, but I do feel that black's pieces are very active. You know, it's not a marshal. It's a different type of position, so bishop c5.
Yeah. I'm just playing with my pieces, putting them close together, having harmonious play. I'm just wondering how is white going to finish this development.
My dark square bishop is somewhat restricted. Not something that I was thinking that I would say on the 9th move or which move, like 12th moves now, yes. So cannot play knight d2 because I was afraid of knight f4.
Yeah.
And if I take on f6, then g takes f6 and rook g8 is coming, yes. So
yeah, that's the idea. If I get rook g8 and bishop h3.
Oh no, this is a horrible position, by the way.
Okay, so after d4, we really like this queen d7 idea, pawn sacrifice with long castle. We'll see if Humpy will go for it. Of course, she doesn't have to sacrifice the pawn, could just trade and then simply play queen d7 and long castle and play similar position without being down a pawn. However, then white has a very easy development as well.
Yes, I will definitely play knight c3 and maybe then bishop b5 or d5, yes.
Right.
Knight c3, the square is actually very important.
Yes.
So let's
one more game we
analyze.
haven't looked at. Let's jump to Bibisara's game against Stavroula. Kind of a slow start. I see they're on move 8. Is this the only d4 game we have today?
Well, we had the knight of 3 games.
But that transposed into
transpose,
English, so
yes.
this is the only d4 game today. It was the... okay.
Yes, Stavroula decided to give this check. We've seen this already on a few occasions. So, but she decided to use this move queen e7.
Yeah, I think she played c5 or a5 in one of the games earlier in this tournament.
c5 against...
Kosteniuk, maybe?
No, it was... I will have
Three?
to... Against Vaishali. Yeah. So
And take. But I'm surprised by queen takes d2. I play this line all the time with both colors, actually, and I always see knight takes d2. Then black often goes d6, and white plays for this e4 plan. Taken with the queen on d2.
First of all, bishop f3.
That's number one question, right?
So how about destructuring you very early in the game?
And then d5, right?
Yeah, no, wait a second. Now I have to understand. Sometimes you play knight c6, but here it's not a good idea. So should you castle short anyway here, by the way? But then, look, Nazi, I think that if you castle short here, white has an opportunity even to play king h1, rook g1, and f4 at some point. So, well, bishop f3 is a very interesting try, but I think that Bibisara is almost inviting Stavroula to take on f3.
Yes, she's welcoming it, and she played it very fast as well. But do you trust your opponent?
Well, I think that Bibisara noticed something. Maybe there was a pattern. Those players are very well prepared, of course. So there was a clear pattern. So she either knows that Stavroula will take, or and also maybe she likes to put her knight on c3. So that also might explain queen d2. But then you could have taken knight fd. d2, no?
True.
Was it a possibility?
To not allow bishop f3 at all.
So knight fd2, knight c3, and wait for c5. But I think knight fd2 is met by c5 here. Stavroula seems puzzled. She looks puzzled because I think that she's definitely considering taking on f3. So changing the structure, of course, and the character of the position. Because, let's say, you want to take on f3, then you have to come up with a completely different plan. Then
Different structure.
Yeah, different structure. So do you play d5 there?
Or you can play
Yeah,
d6.
because here you know that you will play d6, e5, knight d7, but then if you castle, then you will have to play g6. You know, so is d5 better than d6 with this structure? You have to understand this, to understand what is the decision-making process, what is her mindset. Stavroula also wants to win. Stavroula, I thought that's why I made the mistake, because I thought of Stavroula and the Grandmaster norm, so she needs 2.5 points out of 3 to make her grandmaster norm. So she is still in contention.
Yes, she needs 2.5 out of 3. Right?
So yes, with the black pieces, you know, she can't lose. If she wants to make her grandmaster norm, then she will have the white pieces, and then the last round has its own rules. You never know. Yes, what is going to happen? So let's bring our analysis board. And
do you want to check a different game? I think a lot is happening in Divya's game against Zhongyi.
And also Vaishali against Carissa. I can see the queen on the 5. So let's first check Divya's game.
We left it at knight takes c3, d takes c, and now I see knight c6 was played, bishop b5, and not queen e4.
But queen e7.
So she provoked g3 and then went back to e7. Very interesting. So Tan didn't want to trade queens. She has her eyes on the e5 pawn.
By the way, that is such an interesting maneuver, because let's say if you would have played bishop e7 instead of queen h4, yeah. So then queen g3, I thought at least. Oh, I'm losing. Oh, sorry. It was bishop c5. It was sorry. Okay. It was that was the line that I was talking about. Yes, here I'm losing a queen immediately.
So queen g3 still.
Yes, here queen g3.
So your idea is that if I castle, you have bishop h6.
Yes, but also queen h4 is taken the square away. That's what I wanted to say, is because
and you won't have another chance.
Because previously I analyzed bishop c5 and queen g3, but after bishop b7 I thought, oh, things are different. Things are looking different, because bishop b7 looks somewhat passive here. Maybe if you simply play bishop b7, then bishop f4, like before. Okay, so Tan played queen h4 and queen e7. So what can you do here? You can definitely play bishop f4.
You don't want to give up the pawn, so I'm thinking either queen e2, which is a fine move. You're clearing path for your knight, or bishop f4 makes a lot of sense. You might want to castle right away. But is Tan planning something very aggressive like g5?
Well, but I can always take on c6 and then bishop e3. So how is this position? Let's say, like you will take on e5, and I wanted to castle long.
Castle long. Do I have bishop g4?
It's like there was some magic there when you made the castle.
Yeah, the pieces are jumping around. I don't know.
Oh, bishop g4, but are you better there?
My
like
computer's
queen
acting
g4
up today. Just so you know, I'm not the one making these highlights.
Well, someone hacked the computer, by the way, Nazi, you know this, but it looks beautiful. So king b1. Like, is this so simple? Like, where you, but I can understand. Maybe I'll play bishop g7, take on c3, rook b8, and knight. But knight.
I'm worried about the king, and I think I didn't achieve.
Knight f3.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think this is what Tan wants. So maybe after bishop f4, she's gonna focus on castling queenside as well.
So. Castle long. No, bishop d7, by the way. Am I threatening knight e5? We have to, because the bishop on b5 is also hanging.
Well, not if you castle. I think knight e5 is
and then you take
problem,
on d5,
right?
yes, also. Okay.
So if you castle, I castle.
So
the only thing is for white this knight, right? I want it to be on f3, but that's going to take some time. And if I go knight e2, I think you're ready to take on e5.
Oh, Nazia, no, I had a different idea. I wanted to improve your variations. I wanted to play queen f2.
Instead of knight e2?
Yes, and I'm looking at your pawn on a7, actually. I wanted to take on c6 and queen a7. And if you play king b8 here, for example, so maybe I can play knight f3. And this is a perfect square for a knight. What do you think?
I like this for white. So and this... not ideal, right? Awkward placement of the queen on e7.
You could have played a6, I think, also before, but then I would have to take on c6, yes? And then, like, queen a7 doesn't bring me much, probably.
It's
It looks
It's
scary.
a little scary,
yes.
yeah, but the king, I guess, is fine on d7, so I don't have to worry about it. I could play this, and if you go here, you're actually going to get trapped. So I forced the trade with queen c5, which I'm happy with. 2 bishops in the endgame. Yeah, I think black is better. Are you laughing at the animation? Yeah, that's a new feature we have. We have to get used to it.
Yes, but let's also get back to the game between Vaishali and Carissa, because Vaishali played queen f5. So like, she played knight f5, of course, bishop f5 and queen f5, and knight d7 back. How many moves did this knight make?
Let me jump to the game, Almira. Okay. So we stopped here, castles. This knight made
Yes.
a
This was actually,
lot of
if you're joining us right now at this very moment, like be sure that this is not the knight from b8. This is the knight from g8.
It walked all the way from g8, went back, and now it's heading back.
So yes, and Carissa.
And believe it or not, black is fine.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I was looking at this position and I was thinking, can you lose so many tempi
Apparently you can. She's
in the opening?
she has equalized the position, and maybe even if she knows the plans, which I'm assuming she does, could be an easy play for her from here on. And then, Almira, let's take a look at our pie charts, starting pre-tournament, who was the favorite, and then after 6 days of play. Pre-tournament favorite was Bibisara Assaubayeva at 18%, Zhongyi second, Muzychuk in third, and our American players Carissa and Alice down with 6 and 3%.
Well, I'm curious to see how things have changed after the 6th round.
They've changed a little bit. Zhongyi now is a huge favorite at 61%. Almost whole pie is already hers, but Alice Lee is only half point behind her with 13.6%. Bibisara with almost 12%, and Divya, who is playing 10 today, is at 6%.
Well, allow me to disagree. And first of all, I have the insider's information, Nazi. Yes, maybe we should look at the games, because I think that Alice has better chances to win this event, and maybe even Divya Deshmukh.
We'll definitely see what your point is, but in a moment. First, the results.
Oh, of course. We have our first draw of the round between Alexandra Kosteniuk and Humpy Koneru. Both players didn't win a single game in this event. They're struggling, but we still have 2 rounds to go.
Thank you, Almira. And let's jump into the game. You were saying that Alice has better chances maybe than 10 to win this event. And you know what? Looking at her position right now, I have to agree.
Well, Alice has this wonderful rook on c5, and of course, like the material balance, position is equal. So we'll have to find a plan for white. But I think that Alice needs to bring her king first of all to c3, and then maybe to push e4 if black plays b4.
Yeah, once we have the board on the screen, I'll show all the lines that Almira is talking about. And just a couple moves ago, position was equal. All Anna had to do is put the bishop on c4, maybe push the pawn on b4, and then just g5 and stay. And how does white improve? It's not easy. Instead, she was uncomfortable with the rook on b8, that it's passive, so she started moving it right away. Rook d8, rook d6, but I think she missed an idea. After rook c5, you gotta play bishop c4, because if you go b4, you're just saying goodbye to this pawn. And after bishop c4, bishop c6. You gotta move the pawn, unless you want to play the rook ending down a pawn with passive rook, which is unpleasant. You go b4, and now maybe there's 2 ways to play this. King d2 is also playable, but I would just want to check if immediately bishop b5, are we winning this pawn?
This is a very interesting option, by the way. How can you react? And I was thinking about the 2 rook endgames that Alice won already in this event. So maybe this is certainly the most interesting try. But Nazi, I wanted to ask you, instead of bishop b5, why not e4?
I'm scared of the b pawn.
b3. Okay.
Because let's say if you go king d2, I go b2, and I think I have this some kind of bishop d3 either right now or after b1. Either way, yeah, either way works.
Of course, no, but it was very important to check this line because it's a forced line, of course, then
So
bishop b5.
You could start with king d2 with the ideas of b4 now that you're not worried about the pawn. This is definitely playable. And so is bishop b5, and Anna might lose the b4 pawn, and after that, we know rook endgame, so one extra pawn is not always enough to win, but if you are also on the more passive side.
And even if you play rook b6 here, you're trying like to give up the c pawn, but I think the rook is in time. So b3, rook c1.
Rook c1, and
yes,
you're also losing the b pawn. That's the problem. If you could keep this pawn alive, you would have enough compensation, but it'll be gone in 2 moves. And this will be completely over.
and this will be also such a tough choice for Anna Muzychuk because like she was having a very comfortable position. She's a very solid player. She didn't lose a single game in this event. However, you're absolutely right. After bishop c6, first of all, restricting the rook, and then bishop b5, Alice would have a lot of practical chances to win this game.
Absolutely. And I'm going to jump to our tournament leader, Tan Zhongyi's game, because she's in the mood to sacrifice a lot of pieces today. I'm going to back up here when she first gave up the pawn on a7. It's a decent sacrifice. She gets active play. But then she decided to give up a second pawn with c5, put the rook on e4, then a temporarily third pawn on c5. And in this position, I was expecting bishop d4 by Divya just to trade pieces since we are up 2 pawns. Instead, she goes knight d2. Can you guess Tan's next move?
Well, I can because I predicted it. f5, I think, has to be played here because Tan cannot allow Divya to push a4, a5, a6, and a7, and white will be completely winning here. She needs to create chaos on the board, and she's very good at it. By the way, Nazi, I think that, like, because I analyzed the variation in my head, and maybe let's demonstrate it. For example, if white takes on e4, d takes e4. Let's say rook d1. No, it's like such a natural move. So queen c6, I think, for me. And then let's say you want to play bishop d4, but here I was thinking black can play f4, like in the spirit of Sveshnikov, where you just sacrifice everything
just
on the queen side. Yes.
On the king side, right?
And I think that black is actually fine here.
So yeah, if white doesn't play accurate moves, you have enough compensation, even though you're down so much material. How... Yeah, white's king is suddenly very weak.
Yes, but let's say, let's try a few natural moves. Let's try,
I can't take it.
Queen f4.
I think
yes, you are getting mated.
Yes. Mated or at least losing the queen.
Because you cannot play king h1, but let's say rook d8. King f7. There are a lot of checks. Queen a7. Yes, what are you doing?
Covering?
Rook e7. Yes, only a Sveshnikov player would understand, you know, because
that's
very
why
often
these moves are coming to you naturally.
Yes, you have those pawns on
Maybe
f4
check.
and e4. Yes. So what do? And now you have to keep creating those threats. Now e3 is coming. Yes, f3, bishop g2. So what do you do here?
No, I'm not happy anymore with all the extra material I have. So definitely should have played more accurately earlier because this is all black wants.
Yes, but I thought that you would at least try rook g1. Nazi, try rook g1, and then you will see that you are losing after e3.
I just resign.
Yeah. So that's how quickly the position can change. What is this?
I want to win your queen.
What is this
or
nonsense?
Take all your pieces.
But queen g8?
Queen g8, queen f4. I'm back in the game.
Oh,
I have a million checks now. I found a draw for white.
No, this is
and
not a human
you
move.
think we're going into some crazy lines, but this is on the board. All we have to see is bishop d4, and then we have our analysis.
And this move is very tempting. Of course, when you have such a great material advantage, we were all told, which when we were kids, you need to exchange a few pieces, and then the game is yours.
But very strong move here for white is bishop a7, just keeping that bishop alive and far away, but it's still protected.
But how?
The idea is,
to play queen c5 maybe. Yes.
That's the idea.
Because the queen is protecting the pawn on e4, and that's why this move queen c6 was essential. Because it's a hidden threat to play f4, and I'm pretty sure that Divya is thinking right now, what did I miss? What is my opponent's threat? Because like my advantage seems to be overwhelming. But one step in the wrong direction, bishop d4, and this is it. And after f4, the tables are turning. So what can we do here? G takes f4. No. Yes, G takes f4. But what did we try here?
We tried
bishop
taking,
e5.
because I think that's the only move.
No, because I thought that we tried bishop e5 first. Can we try bishop e5 first? Here. Does it change something?
There's some in-between moves I didn't want to calculate.
e3.
Because your only move is queen e2 to not blunder mate, rook e5. I don't even have checks. I just one check on your king.
This is even a better version. Yes. Then that's why g takes f4 had to be included, even though you open the g file.
Right.
Okay, so then...
But Divya has 20 minutes here to figure out that bishop d4 is just a horrible mistake, even though it looks like the most natural move in the position. And she needs to move the bishop either to a7 or b6 to have queen c5 available. Then she can show why so much extra material is better.
Of course.
We'll see if she finds it. What else has caught your eye, Almira?
Yes, I think that we have to look at the game between Bibisara and Stavroula, because this game is also crucial for the standings. If Bibisara wins, then she can catch Tan.
If Tan goes
If
down,
Tan goes down. So, and Stavroula is a very solid player. Like I've said, she needs to break her defense.
And this was the critical moment where Stavroula decided to sacrifice a piece with d takes c4, but it was not accepted, because Bibisara had to find this in-between move of bishop a6 in order to actually have an advantage. Not an easy move to spot for sure. Idea is that after b2 you simply play rook c2, and let's say takes and queen b4. Black is looking happy, but there is this queen c7 move attacking the last rank, and after this I can simply drop back to d3 and have an extra rook. But during the game you get nervous, you get scared, and you trust your opponent. So she just took on c4, and now I believe position is quite balanced.
I feel that in this game, Stavroula has hypnotized her opponent, or even Bibisara at the beginning.
She sacrificed the piece so confidently that it worked.
So what do we think about this position?
White has this nice central pawns, but they're easily blockaded. They're not moving forward. This bishop is not helpful with the pawns. So I think it's equal, but still a lot to play for. A lot of pieces on the board.
Stavroula is attacking the pawn on c4, but if she can replace her knights, also to play knight d6 first.
That's coming for sure.
Yes, and get rid of this knight on b5. Then, if she manages, by the way, I think that Bibisara needs to leave this knight. Maybe play a4, and after knight d6, just to leave this knight on b5. So if you will remain with the knight against bishop, that potentially Stavroula can even win the game.
Agreed. All right, and one more game to update. That's Vaishali against Carissa. We have major piece endgame, queen and both rooks on the board. They started very quickly in the opening, then they slowed down. They were taking 20 minutes per move, but looks like no one was able to break through.
Yes, and there was a critical moment, though, when Carissa played g6 on the move. Yes, and I think that there was another move, f6, which was available. It's a very interesting alternative, and as you were thinking that potentially Carissa can even win this pawn on e6.
That was definitely an interesting option. Maybe not right away, but you can play queen d6, double rooks, and e6 becomes a weakness. But she didn't go for this option. She played g6 and just traded the knights. So pawn remains on e5 pretty safely, and this is the current position. Kind of hard to come up with plans for either side. Everything looks pretty equal.
Yes, and it seems that our defending champion, Carissa has missed so many opportunities during this tournament. So
she left at least 2 points on the table, maybe more.
And maybe that explains her move g6. It's a more solid approach here. She knows that she will transpose it to this heavy pieces, end game, middle game, as you like. And well, she cannot lose here. Like, she wants to feel. She wants to have this feeling that she can't lose this game.
Yes, but if she's fighting for that last GM norm, she needed a win today. She needs to go 3 out of 3. She needs 6 points out of 9 to make her last GM norm.
At the same time, she's playing against the World Championship challenger.
Not an easy task, yes. Almira, I want to draw your attention. Before the tournament, we had this interview with all the players, and they were asked some tough questions. And one of the questions was, what was the toughest concept in chess that took the longest to understand?
Wow, let's have a look. I hope that you will not ask this question.
I actually don't have an answer, so let's find out what the player said.
Probably pawn structures. That was a difficult one. Well, since pawns cannot move backwards and you can't take them backwards, you need to be very careful when you move them, and every single pawn move can lead to extremely good positions or extremely bad ones, so having to be very careful with that.
I don't know, like for me to deal with my time trouble, and okay, clock was also part of the game, and which I really struggle with, especially in the recent times. It's quite clearly visible. Been a challenge also to overcome the time trouble problem. Yeah, hopefully I can get over it someday.
For me, it was very hard to improving in blitz, because from my childhood I more prefer to think during the game. But then it was fun that I'm becoming one of the best players in the blitz. Somehow, I don't really know how, but it was my big problem. I remember when I was already 23 or 2400, I played some Blitz World Championship and I was playing on the last board, but then something changed. I don't really know what's changed. I won my 3 gold medals in 5 years. Yeah.
Well, I can't name like one concept, but in general, like when you start playing chess, like when you're a kid, you are likely to like more some attacking style, some combinations and so on, and you don't like that much some positional things and positional understanding. You prefer just to skip this part. And then when you grow up, you go more deeply into chess, and then you learn more about it, and then you actually like it more.
I've not thought about this question before. You're the first one to pose this question to me. I will need some time to think about it. I won't be able to give you an answer right away.
I think endgames. Even today, I feel like sometimes when I get back after the game, when I start analyzing, I still feel like I've seen something new, or even though some we have seen earlier, we might not remember that technique to finish off that in a right way, and especially rook endgames are very tricky.
Okay, I guess my funny story is that it took me forever to learn how the knight moved. I don't know if that counts as a chess concept. Yeah, I was just not getting the hang of the L shape and jumping over. And I remember, like, my parents would be in the kitchen cooking dinner, and I would just be on the floor, like, jumping around with my knight, practicing. Yeah. This is when I first started, so I guess around 7.
I think a lot of the pawn structure is definitely took some time for me to understand. I'm not sure, I don't think like I understand them fully now, because there's just like so many different ideas, and there's a lot of like classical games that you must go over to learn such things, and I was not really like into reading books as a kid that much. Maybe some of the positional understanding, or some of the things that take like a long time to, like you have to play games to experience, so some of the structures.
Yeah, I don't know. I often struggle with some positional concepts, but it usually has to do with structure. Like, we have these different kind of structures that come from certain openings, so maybe like that. Some kind of structure that I really struggled, or it doesn't come naturally to me.
Develop your pieces, control the center and castle. I've once read a book, this tennis player was explaining that actually every coach
keep saying three basic things to any tennis player, even the very best ones. It's like your foot, your hand, and watch the ball. Something like three basic things. I'm not so sure it's those exact things, but in chess it's still improve the position of your pieces, control the center, and make sure your king is safe. And you know, I'm still struggling with those. I've been struggling, and like every time I go to play a tournament or a game, my husband, who is also a strong grandmaster, he keeps saying, don't forget about developing your pieces. So the basic stuff is usually the most important one.
Almira, a lot is happening in the game between Divya, Deshmukh, and Zhongyi. We need to jump right into it. Your prediction of 5 happened, and we have this very exciting position. And here, Divya had to find bishop a7 and queen c5. Instead, she played c4, and now tense pieces are all coming at white's king. Queen g6, beautifully played, and Divya decided to just sacrifice some material back.
Because she was not at all prepared to these dramatic changes, and e3 was coming.
Absolutely, but now maybe she was hoping she would have perpetual check, but guess what? Black king is going to walk all the way to h5. And this was the current position here. Only move for Divya, bishop e5, defending the g3, and if you go e3, I have this check. And then I'm kind of holding on the king side, and maybe I can start pushing the pawns.
So queen e4 is actually important, so you can't push f3.
Exactly, you're stopping f3. This wasn't found. Divya in time trouble. She gave a check. Now tense king is very happily walking. Rook g6, e3 comes, and everything is now falling for Divya. She also has only 36 seconds for next 3 moves, but she's lost on the board. Just f takes g3.
F takes g3, she cannot capture on g3 because she will lose her rook.
Yeah, rook is hanging, and if we take on e3, let's say, you take with a check. I kind of want to hide here, but I don't think I'll survive for a long time. Oh, actually, rook e3 is hanging. So I can't do that. It's just 1 check. Let me double check. Okay, 2 checks, but you can easily cover now. Rook g3. This is a study.
Yeah. This is such a beautiful position.
And our leader about to extend her lead, winning with the black pieces today. I mean, that just gets her so much closer to the crown.
But Alice Lee and I think Bibisara, Assaubayeva are fighting on their boards because Alice is trying to narrow the gap and Bibisara is trying to stay closer to the leaders. And
actually, before we see the end of this game, I want to get in a few more games. Let's jump to Bibisara and Stavroula, because Ten has 12 minutes. She might take all of the time to figure out how to win easily. I just want to back up one move here. Last move, rook e8 by Stavroula, was a blunder, but it's such a non-human error. Rook takes c4 was winning for Bibisara. After rook e4, we take the rook. You're not getting this rook back, but you have this phenomenal pawn on d file that's just unstoppable. And white is completely winning.
Well, so I can play rook e8 here?
Rook e8, I play d7, and then your queen is stuck defending the rook. You can't take my knight, and I just need 2 moves to win this game.
Wow, what a beautiful idea Nazin did. But then Bibisara missed it.
Bibisara missed it. She played queen d4. And we're going to have this major piece endgame. She's going to have an extra pawn, for example, take. If I were with black, maybe I would try to trade the queens to survive in the rook endgame.
No, I think I have to keep the queens on the board. But if I play queen d4, then you will probably play queen c5.
Or maybe I can play, if I have time to play aggressively, I will. I am worried about your d-pawn, not going to lie, but...
But queen d5 check.
Can't go in the corner, have to come out here.
And then what happens after g7? Am I missing something?
Rook g2, d1 is hanging.
Oh.
Yeah, and that works out perfectly for black. So there is counterplay, but it's so precise, tempo by tempo. Both players in time trouble as well. We have so much going on right now. I want to jump to Alice Lee's game because Anna Muzychuk is also in huge time trouble, and she's down a pawn in this rook endgame. And they've already reached move 40, by the way. This is second time control, and Anna's already down to 1 minute and 38 seconds. So extra pawn and two pawn islands. If the pawn was on e6, I think we could call it a draw. But because the pawns are separated, this is technically winning for white. But it's not going to be that simple.
Yes, Alice will try to convert her advantage. Of course, she might have to create another weakness in this game, but it will take time. But I think we need to get to the game between Divya, Deshmukh and Zhongyi, because Tan took on g3 and Divya played queen d2 with a few seconds on her clock.
And also Carissa's game is about to end in a draw. They're close to repeating as well. So I'm going to try to jump around. Let's go to Divya, because I do think Tan is very close to checkmating, winning the game, because, okay, there's rook e3 threat right now. If you take with the queen, this mate. If you take with the rook, this mate. And if you go queen e2 to pin, still rook e3. And you could argue, okay, I have 4 pawns, isn't this enough? But black has 2 passers on the king side, and your pawns are very far away. If they were on the 6th rank, sure, but there is no compensation here. I think you're also losing some of these pawns right away.
Yeah, and Divya is staring at the position in disbelief, and I think that she's asking herself this question: what have I done? But the thing is that Zhongyi, she has this sixth sense. She complicated the matters, she created chaos on the board, and it paid off.
It absolutely did, and such a crucial game for the tournament standings. H takes G was played, and I think now it's just move by move calculation. Bishop comes to G2, you take on E1, and we're going to see resignation. Yeah, everything is exploding on every board. I also see Stavroula blunder, so Bibisara is winning again, but we're going to wait to see the end of this game first.
As Divya is maybe looking at the chess gods, but, well, in this game, they cannot save her.
The most forcing way is bishop g2, right? And then we pick up both of these pieces and have an extra rook on the board. Bishop g2, and there is a resignation. Congratulations to Zhongyi, the tournament leader, extending her lead with another big victory with the black pieces against Divya, who was having a great tournament.
And Alice Lee, of course, is staying in the race. But let's quickly jump to the game between Bibisara and Stavroula, because there was a blunder, but maybe it was not that obvious.
Right, so where we stopped here at the queen c4, and I suggested the queen trade with queen c8, but instead she played rook e4. It's a natural tempo move, but turns out after queen b3, now I'm threatening to go with the check, and you don't have any counterplay on my king, so Stavroula played queen b7.
It was very important to keep the rook on the 8th rank. Yes, that's why maybe it was considered such a huge mistake.
And now, just simple play, for example, queen d3, and start pushing the pawn. Because if you go back, you just wasted all the time and got 0 counterplay, right? So I can push d7, I can push f5, keep improving the position until I can finally offer some trades.
Okay, let me try something. Can I take on the 4 here, just to prove my point? How do you win this? And rook then queen c7, probably queen d5.
It's gonna be some last rank issues, right? Rook e1,
and white is completely winning.
Should be over. But they're still 7 moves away from time control to get extra 30 minutes. Bibisara down to 2.5 minutes. It's still not easy to find precise moves because she has so many options. Of course, they can both feel it that white is winning, extra pawn and a good position, but you have to be precise.
But even a quiet move like g3, I feel, doesn't spoil anything. Just in case, you know, you
I agree.
Protecting the pawn, you have king g2, then so what do you do here?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to spoil white's advantage. Because black is no longer getting any kind of counterplay.
Maybe you can try rook e7 and to block the d pawn on d7, let's say.
A little bit better, yeah.
Maybe queen d3, and then if you play rook d7, d6, okay,
It's still pretty bad, but it's better than being stuck on the last rank, right?
So I understand that maybe d6 immediately is a better try after we move our queen. So away our queen. Okay, so this will be interesting. By the way, Alice has her king on h4. She is trying to get there.
I'm going to stay with this game since Bibisara has 1 minute and a half, because she could let go of the advantage if she's not careful, depending on how she's evaluating this position.
Well, the good thing she cannot push d6 immediately. Today I'm blundering my queen more often than anything else. So it's like you need to play queen d3, of course, here.
So then why can't black go rook e7 and still do the same thing? Because it's the same position, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not, though. I have an extra tempo.
They can play h6.
h6, right?
Yes.
5, queen e6 is coming. This is very unpleasant. She's found the best move, queen d3 on the board. Stavroula in big trouble, and this would be her first loss if she loses the game.
But Stavroula is extremely resilient. She defends very well. And once again, we all know how many defensive resources there are in a position. So, for example, if computer would be defending this position with black against us, I think this task will be a bit easier.
All right, and Almira, we're going to jump to Vaishali and Carissa as they're making the 3-move repetition, giving checks in the queen endgame. And I think Vaishali is calling the arbiter. I'm sad to say this ends chances for Carissa to make her final Grandmaster norm.
Another draw for Carissa. But all those draws, they have such different trajectories, Nazi. A lot of missed chances. Maybe Carissa feels that, of course, first of all, she's playing against the World Championship challenger. The draw is a very good result with the black pieces.
But for the tournament standpoint, this just for the tournament standpoint, not a great result for Carissa. And you can see she's disappointed because she should have won at least 2 games that she drew, and it would have been a very different situation.
Yeah, and Carissa was one of the players who was looking for her second win in the Cairns Cup. Zhongyi is the second
Back
player.
to Stavroula, she only has 10 seconds. Let's watch it live, how she handles this position in such a huge time trouble. She made the move with 2 seconds.
Oh, she decided to play queen d7, Nazi. I think I saw it on
Blocking
the board.
with the queen. The queens are famously not good blockaders.
But with queen d5 check,
Yeah,
the same
queen d5
variation
and
that we
then-
tried.
Okay, so if you go king h8, just rook c1, because now on rook d8, of course, I'm winning because of the last rank. You can't take the pawn.
Maybe she was calculating king f8.
Maybe that's better, at least to not get mated, but no, I still have this idea.
Oh, and queen f7. Right. But can I play queen f7 then?
Here?
No, when you play rook c1. Or it doesn't change anything.
I think it's a bit late, right? I'll take and go rook c7.
Oh, rook c7 is winning.
Yeah.
Okay, not d7.
King king e6, I can pick up either of these pawns.
Yes, maybe rook g7 is more precise.
Yes, this is more precise, and wow, queen d5 is on the board. I think before we reach move 40, the game will be over. Technically over. I mean, Stavroula might keep playing, but it's a completely lost position.
Stavroula has less than 20 seconds, and look at this, when the time is running so fast, I get completely paralyzed, Nazi, even as a commentator.
Yeah, when you see seconds and milliseconds running down, yeah, it's over. Queen f7. Now I think immediately d7 is very good.
Rook d8.
Rook d8, and where do we put the queen?
Yeah, we cannot
so
trade queens.
Yeah, I don't want to trade because that would allow you to bring up your king and win my pawn, but I think any queen move is winning. Just queen d6. Black's gonna be in zugzwang soon, honestly.
Okay, let's try maybe h6. I think we had this version already. So
okay, queen c7, make
queen c7
here or
queen
here.
e7. Okay, queen e7.
Okay.
But what do you want here?
I have an idea.
You have to reveal your intentions.
Well, I wanted to avoid all first rank checks and then bring the rook closer.
So let's say if I play king h7, something.
Okay, first I'll take the
Oh, you
pawn.
can
So
also
maybe you should
take-
play a6 or something, right? Or a5. a5. Okay, go
A4.
a4, and then you play king h7. Sorry, I'm going to jump to the live game since the players have few seconds, but they are following our analysis. And now, yeah, queen d6, as we were looking at. Yeah, so after a4, basically, you were only stuck with just king moves, right? And I was going to go rook d6 and then pick up on b6. And
But then I can take on d7.
I take with the queen on b6, and then I can force a queen trade and go into the winning endgame.
So,
When your king is on the last rank.
so we can see that queen d6 is on the board. Doesn't.
Oh, by the
spoil
way,
anything, of
we're not going to
course.
switch, but I was wrong about Anna Muzychuk. She didn't have second time trouble. Just they have this clocks where until you flag, you don't get the 30 minutes.
Yes, because the clock can't indicate how many moves have been made.
There are some clocks that do
Yes.
that, but not the ones that they're playing with. So Anna Muzychuk is not in time trouble. So they're going to play that rook end game for a while. Did Stavroula make a move? Yes, we have h5. 2 more moves to go before move 40.
Oh, h5, not h6. You think it's like it's another target, potential target, this pawn on a5. So I doubt that Stavroula wants to play h4. Maybe she's looking for a perpetual. With the king, but the king
sack
will
the rook
yeah.
and something like this.
King
But that's visual thinking. Yeah, pawn is on h4.
So the king will always find shelter on h2.
Yes, and you can look at the accuracy. Stavroula made a 3. Wow, look at Bibisara's accuracy. Did she make 3 double question mark moves?
Yes, because she didn't take on c4.
Oh,
She
because the
didn't
winning
take on
chances.
b4. Yes, there were so many winning chances that she missed. But like at +3.
Yes. That's why. So it wasn't that she blundered; it's that she didn't make winning moves.
That's why I was telling that she was completely hypnotized by Stavroula. And
She just made move 40, king h1, and left the board. Stavroula about to make her 40th move, and then no longer time trouble.
so
Waiting
a6
move?
or a5. Yes, we tried those moves. King
Yeah,
h7
so something
as
like
well.
this,
yes.
king h7, yeah.
But queen c7. Yes, we tried this line.
But now
that
actually
was-
I'm losing a pawn, so maybe I should start with a5 or a6.
So queen c7 and queen e7.
You could take the a6 pawn.
No, but how? Then I'm giving you checks, no?
For example, queen c4,
King h7.
king h7. And yes, she played king h7 and reached the time control. Oh, I see what you mean. So you're saying if I take immediately,
Yeah.
I can't do this because of the perpetual.
Yeah.
Except it's not a perpetual.
Oh, yes. Queen f1. Okay. I managed somehow to hypnotize you, Nazi. That's like,
I was trusting you.
yeah.
It does look like perpetual, but it's still not. Wow.
So if queen, no, but there if queen e3,
I'm just walking now.
yes, queen
It's gonna come
f4,
out.
you're not losing the rook on d7. That's what
Somehow
I
I'm
wanted to
not.
choose.
Yeah,
How?
because you don't have the g4 square.
Okay, so the n a4, okay,
Yeah.
is covered. Okay.
Bibisara's double checking that she for sure made the 40th move and she's not about to lose on time. And she's correct. And 30 minutes. All right, we can switch to Alice's game, see how that endgame is developing. Okay, so Alice decided to bring the king up all the way to h4.
But now after king f6, I'm thinking,
Go back?
yes, you have to go back.
Because of course she wanted to go forward, but that's no longer an option.
And the king was already on h3.
Almira, this rook c2 move, Ivalbor says it's so bad that now it's equal. How can this be? So after rook a1, if I come back now, what's the... Oh, Wow, you're just not letting me come out.
Yes, but can I start with rook c6 first and then king h3? Why?
Okay, rook c6, king.
Why is it so bad?
Let's say king f5.
Oh, king f5. Okay, let's say king h3 and I can come.
Rook g1, how do you come?
But are you losing the pawn? Rook d6? And then I'm playing rook f6.
Okay, so I can do this. Then maybe
you need
I
to
play.
Keep your rook somewhere.
Maybe I just keep the king here. So let's say I go f6, king g2, and
G2.
g5.
Rook d6 now. Rook a5.
Yeah.
And I need to make a move, but you will play rook b5, rook a5.
That's my plan.
Can I mate you on g4? h3.
I do have an escape, and maybe I go g4 myself.
Oh, I think that now that the pawn on h5 will be a target, I think.
Yeah,
that
so you play h4, right?
No, maybe no.
Or leave
I
it
wanted
here.
to leave it here. Can I try something? Yes, rook d8. What do you do?
Say I make a wait and
rook
move.
b5. Now rook h8 I wanted to play. And now, like...
You do have this idea. You are winning the pawn.
Oh, no, because I thought that I'm winning after h4, but then king g6 there. But
I'm
rook
just too
c8,
far from d5 now, so you just win immediately with this move.
So I need to stretch your position a
Yes,
little bit.
yes.
Yes, I need to bring
So
your king to
g4 was a
g5.
mistake. I immediately lose after g4.
Yes, but you need to wait then, yes?
Well, rook a1 wasn't played. Rook b6, rook a2. Engine gives all of these moves question mark, but it didn't prove really why this is bad.
Yes, but then the thing is that Alice will have to play king h3 eventually. Let's say Anna will play rook c6. She wants to stay on the 6 file.
Rook a5, I believe.
But
No,
then
there's
rook
c2.
d6 anyway. So
Okay. So yeah, I think she needs to go back.
unless Alice wants to play h3 and g4. Yes, like maybe this is her idea.
But do we need the king on h4 for that?
No. But we
Like,
try
why
one
is
thing.
it not on f3, right?
Yes, but you
I'm a
know
little bit
how it
worried
is
about
during
it.
the game. You try one thing,
Yeah.
then you try another thing, and finally you have to make a decision, yes, which will change the position. So maybe g4 and then king g3. So what do you do here
Okay, so
after
this is
h3?
the plan.
Let's say you play rook b6
just
or
waiting.
d6, g4.
Takes, and just still waiting.
Okay, so now king g3. Now I can come back.
Okay, I think I gotta play g5.
But now maybe it's the same thing. So if I attack your pawn, let's say I'm going back.
f4, right?
Oh, no, I thought I could come to the same idea, rook a8.
But here this pawn is safe, so I don't think I have to move my king.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you go f4, you do have similar ideas of just winning the d5 pawn.
Oh.
So you're forcing me to take, and now probably either of them are good, but yeah, this...
So you
I'm
see,
in a bad position.
I think Alice is cooking something.
She is cooking. She is. Rook c6 on the board.
And I'm pretty sure that she went for king h3. So then
This will be her third rook endgame if she wins this.
It's a pity, but after h3, I think she had excellent chances to win this
Which she
game.
can still do. Just bring the king on f3, do the same thing. Yeah. It's not going anywhere.
But then can I play h4? Let's say maybe I shouldn't take on...
so when I go king g2 or...
No. Let's say
Okay.
I have to wait. Let's say rook c6. Okay. King f6. I need to make a move. Rook c6. Here, if I play h4...
But then you go back to same idea, maybe.
So rook d6 because you
Okay, rook h8. And then you don't have g5.
No, but you're not losing the rook because
You wanna
I
trap me?
Yes, I wanted to trap you, but you can always protect it. But then let's say I'm staying here. Are you winning this?
I should be because my king is totally free, right? And I can also free the rook.
You can
well,
always
can I
play
free the
g5.
rook? G5 and rook h6 eventually, yeah.
No, this is okay. This is winning.
But nice study-like solution. Okay, this is the current position. They're following our analysis.
Anna is clearly not happy with
think
how
she
things turned out today.
Relaxed a bit too early in that rook and bishop endgame because it was equal and maybe she underestimated White's chances.
Well, this is one of those moments where you lose your sense of danger. Yes, because like we all know how strong Anna is. So like a slight inaccuracy which resulted in such a difficult endgame, but I think maybe she misjudged the position. Maybe she thought that she could play like for a win. Let's say she puts her bishop on c4 and she missed this bishop c6. And
Yeah, that
bishop
b pawn
a4.
was encouraging, but turns out it was a weakness, not a strength.
So
We do a couple of moves.
Rook f6 is played. Okay, Anna decided, yes, not to allow h3 and g4. But I think that Alice has to start with h3.
Yes, of course she wants to improve. I mean, if she could get here, she would win. But as soon as you come to d3, I'll cut you off with rook c6.
By the way, Nazi, if you start here with the h3 and Anna decided to keep her king closer to d5, maybe I can play rook b1. So this idea will not work anymore. You will have to come back.
Yeah, because I can no longer play g4. You got h4, rook h1.
And black is fine here. So
Yeah.
you have to be careful. King e7 was a very precise move. Yes, you have to keep your king closer
Close to the pawn, yes. So your rook is more free.
Okay, 45 minutes for Alice. You know, she has all the time in the world to figure out how to convert her extra pawn.
Let's jump to the other game we have left. It's Bibisara and Stavroula. And
look at this rook d4.
I like rook d4, shutting down everything.
No, but also looking, yes, at this pawn.
It was definitely a mistake for Stavroula to go all the way to h4, created another weakness in her position.
Yes, Stavroula has done it itself, you know, because Bibisara had to work for another weakness, another
if you
target.
Put this pawn back on h6, it'll be a little bit more difficult for white to convert, but now it's very simple.
So is f5 a threat here after rook d4?
Definitely. So let me make some random move and check f5.
Yeah. So rook, maybe king g8, just to hang in there, because rook h4, then we can take on d7.
So let me try something first. What about queen e6?
And maybe I'm threatening also to take on f5. Look, what am I supposed to do here? king f8? Ah, but then you can't take.
Yeah, I'm taking rook
h4
now.
Okay, and rook h8 is coming. Okay.
So you make some waiting
Let's say
move?
a6, yes.
What if I make a waiting move?
a5.
Oh, okay, you're going to create a passer, distract me.
By the way, maybe I could have started with a5, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Maybe the king is better for me on g1.
Okay, let's see how far you go.
Okay, b4.
And now I will start taking, because I'm taking both of these pawns now.
Oh, okay, but yeah.
d7, rook b4, and the queens are still coming off, and I have two extra healthy pawns.
Yeah, this is a winning endgame.
Yeah, I like the Zugzwang with king g1, king h2, just waiting for you to lose another pawn.
Well, Nazi, we have two very important games for the standings, by the way. So, like, Alice needs to win the game against Anna and to narrow the gap, because for the moment,
To keep
yes,
the half point gap. If she doesn't win, it'll be more than it'll be a point gap already going into 8th round with only 2 games to go.
And Bibisara, if she wins, she still has theoretical chances to win the event, because
She
I
will
think
be facing tan.
Yes, because she's facing tan.
And she can catch her by defeating her. I think they're facing each other tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, we've seen the road ahead in the beginning of the round, and Tan, well, we were thinking that, let's say, today's game is already a test, and we all know how this went.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Stavroula definitely took a lot of risks today. That piece sacrifice, which worked, but then so many blunders, and was still surviving, but eventually she made more mistakes than her opponent today.
But Bibisara is never also, she's never shy of swindling her opponents.
Oh, yes.
Especially with the black pieces.
She's good at that. And we have today's winner with us here, Bibisara Assaubayeva. Congratulations, first of all. Now you're at +2. How does it feel?
Hello, thank you. Yeah, it feels very good because I made a lot of draws here, and also yesterday I have very bad position, but yeah, tournament is going good so far.
And I believe you're one of the few players who's completely undefeated. Was that one of your goals in this tournament?
No, I'm not really thinking about this because I just want to play my good chess.
All right, so let's dive into your game. I'm going to pull up this critical moment in your game when Stavroula decided to sacrifice a piece. Were you expecting this?
No, I absolutely blundered this, and maybe because of this I didn't take the knight, because after c takes b3, bishop a6, I calculate this, and I don't really like the position because she have rook c7 or also something like b2. It's also not clear, and also she will take pawn on b4 definitely, and it will be very hard to win. Definitely. Also, I can lose very easily because pawn on b2 is very dangerous. Yeah, but now I see that computer said I need to take it.
Yeah, but it's of course a very complicated position, and your intuition told you not to take the piece.
Yes.
And then position got quite complicated.
Yeah, also here I calculate c5, rook c5, rook c5, because she can take with pawn because of queen c3, and I think I have big advantage. But she can play queen c5 and I see nothing. That's why I tried to play f4, e4 and rook d4 because I want to her play f5. Also in time trouble it's like the first move you will play immediately, and after rook d1, that was my idea, because I want to play knight d4 and her square on e6 is weak and pawn on f5. Then we have a first line, knight d4, knight c4, knight f5. Oh yeah, and here she should play queen c5, because I planning to play bishop c4, knight c4, and something like queen d4. Also I calculate rook c4, but she can take I think just queen c4, knight e7, king somewhere, and it's also not look very bad for her. Yes, because she have a bad version of this variation in the game after queen f6.
She had this without the pawn, right?
Yes, without the pawn.
Yeah, queen c5 was absolutely necessary. Now after queen f6 you took here, and there was another blunder here from black after rook e8. And
I calculate, I spent my, I think, 5 minutes here to calculate rook c4, rook e4, rook c8, king f7, rook c7, and here, firstly, I calculate king f8, but I think d6 here is winning because of queen e6, rook e7. This one I saw, but then I saw that she can play king g6, and if I will play rook c6, it's just a draw probably.
Because she takes
but I didn't saw g4 unfortunately.
Wow,
yeah, that's
g4.
Amazing move.
Oh, that's such a beautiful
g4
move.
I didn't see.
And then you're still threatening rook c6.
Yes, yeah.
So
because I thinking I really want to play like this, and I calculate that she can't play king f8, she need to play king g6, and of course if I also g4 I will play this move. It's easy win. But I made some problems for myself. I played queen e4, queen d4, yes. But here also it's very unpleasant position, also in time trouble, because my pawn will go to d6, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, and queen c8, it's very hard move to find in the time trouble. I didn't see it during the game.
And even then, it's not easy for her to play against these two pawns. But especially in time trouble, yeah, she didn't find the most accurate moves, and I think from here on, it didn't give her a single chance.
Yeah, but you know, here it's absolutely winning position for me, but she decided to play good moves like h3, h4, and okay, we played some king h1, king h7, rook d4, b5, f5, and king g8. Yes, it's winning by almost, but queen e5, a6, I didn't find immediately the way how I won. And then I realized that maybe it's a zugzwang for black, because I can play just king g1. And after a5, I will take pawn on b5. After queen f6, I can play queen e8, queen f8, and rook e4.
Nice. It
Yes.
is a Zugzwang. Black just
Yes.
doesn't have useful moves.
Yes, and after king f8, I calculate that I can take and f6. It's winning immediately.
So a very sharp game, a lot of tactics.
Yeah.
Well, this was a very important win for you. Now going into the last 2 rounds, you're still fighting for the first place. And tomorrow, you're playing the leader. What's your strategy?
Yeah, I will just try to play some good chess because I play with black and she's in a good shape. So we will see what's happened.
Absolutely. I'm sure some of the players are hoping that you're going to play the spoiler so they also have a chance to catch up with 10. Wish you best of luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we still have one game going on, so I'm going to jump into that game between Alice Lee and Anna Muzychuk. They're still playing this rook end game where Alice has the extra pawn. But I think she didn't choose the right plan. She decided to go h4 instead of g4 earlier. And many times she had this opportunity to play g4 with winning, technically winning endgame. But after she committed to this move h4, now, as you can see, Valbar says it's completely equal. And Almira, she can't even take the pawn back. Anna could just play f5, and it's even material now.
I agree with you, Nazi. However, maybe there is a practical chance if she will go king f4, king g5, but I feel that Alice has completely misplayed this endgame.
Absolutely. This move e4, so we were discussing that at some point she should play e4, but I didn't expect her to sacrifice the pawn.
Yeah, because you can prepare it by playing king, like when the king was on f3, rook d2, and then e4.
Yes, or even some f3, e4 ideas, of course, with the king ideally on f4. But now this is an interesting decision. The funny thing is that black doesn't even have to defend the pawn, even if Anna just gives it up and stays down a pawn. Technically, this is still a draw.
Maybe Alice is counting on this king's march, Nazi. Let's say you will play f5. Just
in which position?
When defend the pawn. When your pawn is here. F. So let's
king f4,
or maybe d5 first and then king f4 or king d4. Let's say how do
okay,
you
let me
react?
give you a check. I'm even helping you get
king f4
to where you want to go. Okay, king d6. And you want to take this, right?
This a race, but then you will play e3. Yes,
exactly. That's my idea.
And if I play rook d2 first here, what do you do?
I can kick you to g5 and still go e3.
Oh.
And I'm going to take here first, of course. So this is the idea for black. And so many pawns come off. Black has to be okay here. Maybe rook g3.
So maybe this is not the way to go.
Critical moment for Anna to make here. Is she going to play f5 and create a weakness on g6 but keep the equal material, or give up this pawn and hold the draw positionally? She has 10 minutes to figure it out.
But so if you play f5 and I will play king f4 and not d5, then the way to go is king
still
d6
play this, because
anyway.
you can't play this, right?
King d5.
And
so
then I don't even have to give up the pawn. I can just stay. So I think d5, like you played, is necessary. And then, yeah, this idea that I have e3 at all times. Let's try going this way.
Alice was playing so well, but maybe she starts to feel a bit tired. You know, she had a lot of long games in this grueling event for her. And every time, once again, I wanted to state that how different it is to play a chess tournament against the best in the world. And let's say you're playing a tennis tournament where only at the end you will face someone from the top 10, and here the intensity of each game is simply immense. So players, of course, are getting very tired, and especially Alice Lee, she is the last seed in this event. She's doing
She's
very
the underdog,
well,
and she's chasing Zhongyi, only half point behind coming into today's round. Definitely not an easy task playing this tournament. But Alice is, even though she's the youngest, she's also very experienced.
She clearly showed that she has the maturity, and what is probably even more important, the nerves to play this event. You have to have the nerves of steel. Yesterday she beat Humpy, but the game could go either way. She was very calm. She waited for the moment when her opponent blundered, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
She definitely has a great approach to playing chess. Anna down to 8 minutes. Even though this rook endgame is drawn, you don't want to have 30 seconds on the clock. Then it's so easy to mess up and make a mistake, miss just one idea, and then suddenly you're lost again. So she needs to keep, my advice would be keep at least 5 minutes on your clock in this endgame. Don't go below.
Yeah, Alice still has 20 minutes, but I feel that the move f5 is very natural here.
Yeah, I don't know that she's hesitating necessarily to play f5. She's more like checking that for sure there is nothing here. One thing I want to ask, for example, if we started with king d6, is rook c6 playable?
Okay, let's try. We have to calculate a very straightforward line. So king d6.
This might be what she's calculating.
Yes, king g5, king f5, and then you can play f4.
You have to, yeah.
You have no other moves.
I have to take.
Then king h5, king f3.
Yeah, it's a race that ends in a draw. We actually promote first. Yeah, nothing to worry about. So even rook king d6 is fine. I was trying to avoid the pawn endgame because I didn't want to calculate. I figured rook a3 was easier to play. But Anna can definitely play both. She's been thinking for 9 minutes after this move king e3. Because she knows she's very close to making a draw and doesn't want to slip up and give Alice another chance.
By the way, I was listening to Bibisara, and this move, king g6, escaped us, and she actually saw this during the game. Yes. And like her calculation was absolutely perfect. And then seeing the move g4 on the board, Nazi, like, you know that it's not human at all. So.
Yeah, she calculated like an engine. Incredible. And of course, we know that all of these players are capable of that, but that was after 4 hours of playing. That was towards the end of the game. All right, going down to 5 minutes and 50 seconds. You know Anna better than I do, Almira. Is she going to go f5 or king d6? Take a guess.
Well, you know, those rook endgames are very tricky. Like, I think she will go f5, but I've been wrong many times, Nazi.
I don't believe you.
I actually, like, I would prefer Tan's positions, yes, where you need to create chaos on the board. That's why it was so easy for me to predict those moves f5, queen c6, and f4, but here
going down to last 5 minutes. And you know, there was another rook end game Alice was playing. There was a draw, but her opponent went into a serious time trouble, and then she made the most of it and won the game. Forget if that was against Alexandra or the first game, or maybe both. So Anna definitely needs to hurry up in this position. Just make a decision, one or the other.
There was one other move that I wanted to try. Let's say you play f5. Can I give check first? Rook c7. So where do you go? And then I wanted to go somewhere like rook g7. Now check on d7 and king e6. So
maybe this?
Yes, rook d8. But then you give me rook a3 check.
Yeah, I'm ready for counterplay now. I can also just stand behind your pawn if you go back. If you go to f4, you're
rook f3,
you're
king
taking
g5,
a big risk,
yes.
right? The e pawn is dangerous now.
No, but now I have rook 8. Let's say king g6. What do you do here?
Okay,
I think that
should
if
I go for
e3, I have rook 8.
Yeah. Let me go after this one, because I like how anytime you take this, I'm cutting you off and I'm
now
not
you
worried.
have,
Now I'm winning all of a sudden, yeah. So you would have to maybe try this.
No, this is playing with fire. Nazi.
It is, and unnecessary so. Wow, Anna played a move we did not expect at all.
Actually, I considered it, but I thought that then why put the rook on e6? She didn't want actually to weaken her king side, yes.
This is a very passive choice, though. White can now give a check.
King
To go
f6.
up.
But now you can
D5?
play d5. Okay.
I don't know why Anna allowed this. It
Okay.
still might be holdable, but a lot more difficult for black. King f4. Ooh.
Yes, Alice has a few practical chances, yes, to keep the game alive, if not to
Absolutely.
win it. Of course, it's a chance. It's like we've seen that all the other moves were keeping the balance. Wow,
know,
rook
and
c7 is on the board.
Instantly, yes.
Instantly was played. So
Alice is also putting the pressure on the clock for Anna. Because she doesn't have to rush. She has 21 minutes, but she doesn't want Anna to think on her time.
by the way, Nadia, I thought that, for example, if you give this position to Anna and just to analyze, she would immediately make a draw, she would play this, but to make those decisions under pressure and with 3 minutes on the clock, and suddenly you start doubting yourself. It's like I've seen this, I know this, but is this sure? So let's play rook e6, just not to weaken the king side. And here we are.
I'm worried about the d pawn.
So you cannot play king d6, you cannot play king e8 maybe?
Yeah,
but
can't give up the pawn, so the only two options I think are this. King e8, okay, maybe
D5.
fine, but it's just so passive. Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? She's gone king f6. Okay, d5 probably the only move, because if you start with king f4, actually king f4 wins the pawn, doesn't it?
Ah, so I cannot keep the rook on the e file.
I mean, you can, but
yes, then
not
d5
for long, right? This last two moves, very suspicious. And I think immediately d5 is the strongest. You trying to keep the pawn alive, or do you want to start giving checks from the side?
Maybe no. After d5, maybe I want to play rook a6.
Okay. Rook c6 wins the game.
Oh,
apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, of
Like
course
I
now,
haven't-
because your king takes too long to take the pawn. So
I completely forgot about this
Yeah.
idea, so we need to be very careful. But now you can go king
I don't
d4
even know
or king f4.
which way to go. Both look good. Maybe f4 was
Oh,
better.
now I can play rook a8.
Yeah.
But anyway, king f4, I will play rook a8. Are you going to play rook c6?
Kick your king. e7 or probably e7, right?
But if you play king e7, I wanted to play king e5. I don't want
Exactly.
to take the pawn. Okay.
This looks scary. Very scary.
So I want to play rook c7.
All right, we have rook e5 on the board by Anna.
But now king d4.
So if king obviously we have to play king d4. Does she want to go after this pawn?
At rook c2.
There's just rook c2. This is such an awkward placement of the pieces.
And I think inaccuracy after another inaccuracy and then maybe a mistake has led Anna to a difficult version of this endgame.
She shouldn't be suffering in this endgame, and she created more issues for herself. Of course, if d6, then she's happy. Finally, she can get rid of this pawn.
Yes, everything is under control,
King
but
d4
king
will
d4.
definitely come. Maybe Alice is considering check first before king d4. Don't think that makes a big of a difference, but I would go just king d4.
No, check. Maybe you can bring your king closer. So king e7, king d6, if you like.
Well, it's because the rook will be unprotected, so you can play with tempi.
But then rook f5. What do you do?
And yeah, if I go rook c2, why did I help your king come close? That's
And
true.
king d6.
So king d4 definitely needs to be played, and now Alice starting to think. She has 20 minutes to figure out the delicate nuances of this position, but she got another chance. I mean, this might technically not be winning, but black needs to find only moves to survive.
And it's the 86th move in this game. So, and they will probably cross 100 today. What do you think? So it's one
I
of
think
the
we are
longest
going to reach 100 moves, yes.
One of the longest games in this event. So imagine how many critical moments there were in the game where the players were holding their breath. It's like the adrenaline rushes. So like you barely have time to gain your composure after the time travel. Then so many difficult decisions ahead of you. And Anna was almost there, and she has to start again.
And it's so hard when you realize. Yes. Let's take a look at this line. King d4. Rook e8. d6.
King e6.
King e6 only move. Look at this. The white king is running.
Oh, so.
And here, only move for black is f6, although it already looks completely lost for black.
But if I play rook g7, you want to play rook c8.
And black's also preparing g5. Oh, this is very difficult to find all these moves for black. Otherwise, Anna in big trouble.
King c6 here. What happened?
King c6. I think I have g5.
Okay.
So I'm creating counterplay. So at some point, maybe in the future, I'll sack my rook if needed.
d7. Like rook d8, yes, and
yeah,
I can no longer play,
yeah.
yes, and my rook is out of play, yes. Okay, so f6 and g5 is the best try for black in this position.
And they're following this line so far. Rook is on e8. We'll see if they go this far. But these are the only moves for Anna to not lose the game.
Well, this looks very dangerous.
Absolutely, and she really didn't have to make it so difficult for herself, but maybe she's one of those players who likes to show that she can defend. You know, there are some grandmasters who purposefully go into rook versus rook and bishop endgames just to show that they can make the draw.
Okay, so let's wait a few moments. Alice is about to make a move.
She's gonna go d6, right? Of course. And king e6 now only move for Anna. Yeah, if she starts with rook d8, then I go king d5. Your king can no longer come close. So I think king e6 itself is not a difficult move to make.
But after king c5, yes.
Yeah, f6, g5, not. Those are not instinctual moves.
And the problem is that you can't. Well, the thing is you cannot play rook 8 because you have rook e7. So what else do you have that if not f6?
That's a good question, because f5 doesn't make sense.
She will find this idea out of necessity.
Maybe because other moves are clearly worse, she will find this.
Yeah, and
she also has 2 minutes.
This is the position where she has her back against the wall, and if she doesn't find f6, she will lose the game. So let's see, king e6 has not been played yet. Anna is looking worried, so
and another factor is that she might think that she's already losing, because she doesn't know she can hold this. That evaluation of this endgame is objectively still okay and drawn. And she blundered rook a8. Now all Alice needs to do...
Exactly, rook e7. That's what I told you, that even with a king on e6 or an f6, if the rook gets to e7, you are winning because your king is cut.
Yes, absolutely. Rook e7 is the easiest way to win, but I think even starting with king c5 also works, because if you come close, I can cut you off.
Yes.
And Alice gets another chance to win this game.
But let's see, king c5, rook a5, maybe that's Anna's idea. What do you do here?
King b6.
King b6, rook d5.
King c6.
King c6, yes.
Yeah, you don't have time to pick up my pawns. I think I'm still going to go rook e7, take this and just...
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I do think Alice will start with rook e7, though, because you want to cut the king off first. So many tempting moves, but let's start with rook e7. So
say rook a2.
Rook a2. Kings, let me see.
d5 or c5?
Maybe d5. Because if you take, I take rook e4 and
you have
I'm golden. Yeah. And if you give me a check, I go king c6,
and if
rook
I
f2, rook e4.
No. But can I give you another check? Where do you go?
d7.
Okay, d7. Maybe now I can take... No, wait, rook c4. You will go king e8? Okay,
king e8, you'll give me a check, so king d8 first.
D8.
Yeah. This king is just completely out of play. You can't save rook endgame without your king. Does Alice now realize that she is completely winning? This is not a small advantage. It's not +1 or +2. It's +6. As long as she cuts off Anna's king with rook e7 either immediately or on the second move, it's game over.
So this is going to be one of those Alice in Wonderland stories if she wins this game.
Seems that way. If she hesitates and takes on e4, then again, of course, it's a draw, because you're immediately losing this pawn.
And how important it is actually to have 15 minutes on your clock precisely at that moment?
Honestly, I think if Alice had 1 minute here, she would blitz out rook e7. She might overthink it now. But no, of course, it's a bonus to have extra time. But I just know that even if she had a minute, she would figure out the right moves.
She has this unique chance to take down another top 10 player, Anna Muzychuk, and Anna Muzychuk finished second in the candidates. No, it was Bibisara.
Was second.
No, she was leading in the candidates. Yes, at some point. Yes, no, she finished. She qualified through the Grand Prix series, and when Humpy Koneru withdrew from the tournament, yes, she was the second player from the Grand Prix circuit.
And this will be Anna's first loss in the tournament. She's made all draws so far, and she was very close to making a 7th draw. We'll see if Alice realizes that now she's completely winning.
Yes, Anna Muzychuk is also one of a few women in the world who have crossed the 2600 barrier. And well, I remember, yes, she was the runner-up of the World Championship as well. So
she's been on the top 10 for a decade, I think. It's so hard to maintain your level.
And her sister Maria Muzychuk won the World Championship, if I'm not mistaken, in 2015.
One more idea. So if Alice is calculating d7, because king e7 immediately...
No, you have a
this
check.
is fine.
Yes,
okay, so d7 just a terrible, terrible move. I thought black had to be a little bit careful and play rook d8, but actually any move here is a draw. So I think you can use method of elimination. d7, you're losing the pawn. King e4, you're losing the pawn. So what do you have to do? Either cut the king off or get closer to the pawn. But rook e7 seems more natural, right? Because you don't know if you're going to need the king d5, c5, or even on e4.
And we're about to see the move on the board. This suspense is killing me once again. It was the same moment where we were waiting for Alice to take on e6, and she just played rook e7.
She found the best move, and I think Anna realizes that she made some big error somewhere in this endgame. She cut off her own king. The pawn could have been on f5, pawn would have been safe, and her king could have been on d6 in front of the pawn.
Looks like a harakiri.
No, this is absolutely over now. It's so straightforward for white.
Told you f5 was a better try.
It was.
And of course I can understand Anna's concerns. She wanted to be precise, and maybe she started to see ghosts at the end because she's also getting very tired.
Yes, we're almost at move 90. Anna down to 2 minutes, but completely hopeless position now. This king is coming over and the pawn is unstoppable. Black king is not in the play. And she didn't manage to create counterplay. It's too slow now.
So let's try once again. Does it change something if we play rook a1? Rook is a bit farther.
Rook a1. Okay,
so king c5 or king d5. Because maybe now I can give checks from a5. No, because I already tried that, and I thought that if my rook...
She played rook a2, but same thing. Maybe she wants to take here, so let's say I go... Ooh. Oh, no, 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 no. Rook e4, a huge blunder. Now after rook a4, that's just a draw.
Wow. I think
taking king e6.
Alice missed it. Wow.
What are we witnessing? And of course, Anna has to go for this. Everything else is lost. She's not going to take here. Of course, rook a4.
And I think
This is
that Alice
incredible.
completely missed this move.
I think she thinks the pawn end game is winning, but it's just not. Her king is slightly better, but I don't have weak pawns. If she had won this game, which she was one move away really from winning, she would only need 1 point out of 2 to make her GM norm. And also, let's not forget, she was fighting for the first place. Of course, she still is, but now she'll be full point behind Tang.
Of course, and Bibisara Assaubayeva will have the same number of points than Alice Lee.
She thought d7 here is somehow winning, but it doesn't change anything. Yes, you can put me in opposition, but my pawns are safe. I can defend this. Wow, this is shocking.
I think the fatigue plays a very important role in this game.
Of course, but she also rushed, right? She could have sat there, calculated this endgame. Do you think she just forgot about rook a4?
Because when black plays rook a2, your only concern is the pawn on f2, yes, because like you're not calculating rook a4 here. So you calculate your lines rook a4, rook f2, and then I'm winning, yes. So.
Oh, this is really heartbreaking for Alice. I mean, to play such a long game and finally get to the winning position after 90 moves, and then you let it slip away.
And you have to play tomorrow. You see, that's chess is tough, especially when you analyze the sport specifics. Yes, because like, doesn't matter if you lost, if you won, and if the game is lasted for 6 hours or 2 hours, you will have to play another opponent, another tough opponent tomorrow.
You know, I think I heard Wesley's interview from the Sinquefield Cup. He made a quick draw against Prague within like half an hour, and he said, if you're going to make a draw, it's better to do in half an hour instead of 6. In this game.
Well, this explains a lot, because we know how important it is to have like the energy which is required to play 9 rounds. So he takes a very pragmatic approach, of course, but
which clearly has been working for him for many years.
And he's leading the event. He was leading the event, of course, so far. Look at this. It's the look of devastation.
Maybe Alice still hopes that there is some way to trick Anna in the pawn ending. But honestly, I don't think a player of Anna's caliber can lose that pawn endgame.
Yes, and I think that chess gods smiled at Anna at last.
Yeah. We're waiting for a move. The reason why Alice hasn't taken here is she's considering immediately d7. It wins a tempo technically, but it doesn't help her in any way. Also, she needs to calculate this, right?
Rook e5.
Rook e5.
But then king d6, rook e6.
Yeah, you can come back here to force me king e7, but if you go here, then I have this
but
move.
Then it's maybe a slightly better version of that endgame, because if you play king e7 there, like I will take on e5, king d7, king f6, and
but look at this.
Yeah, f6 first. Yes, so she needs to calculate
move,
this.
Yeah, that's a good point. If she allows king on f6, winning, of course it's winning. I think f4, f5
yes,
just ends the
f4,
game.
f5, of course, is a very important idea. Otherwise, like if I play king f8, yes, it's a very important
But
plan.
I think Alice calculated all the lines and is disappointed now. And you know what's a clear sign that you're doing well? Taking a sip of water or something when you have 2 minutes. That shows that, okay, I've got this now.
Well, I know Anna, she was like, she was about to smile, you know, she knows then that the game is going to be drawn.
Yes.
And now I've read, I think Peter used such a funny and elegant expressions, like it's like taking a win from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
Like making a draw from the jaws of victory. I have to find out. I have to ask Peter.
Yeah, I've heard it, but I can't repeat it word to word.
Escaping from the jaws of victory or something
like
this,
that, yes. He has a lot of interesting phrases that I don't try to recreate. Alice going down to 9 minutes, but wow, I'm just gonna back up like in this position. She was so close to winning. Honestly, she can even waste that tempo and play rook e8 and it's winning. Even rook e8 is winning, but of course she doesn't have to. She can go king c5 and then move later, take on e4. And guess what? You keep this pawn and the rooks on the board. This is such an easy win.
Because your king goes to d8, yes? Because let's say if I check, so king goes to c7,
I'm going to go to d8
rook
and then
c2,
d7,
king d8.
yeah. And rook is perfectly placed. My pawns are safe. You're not creating a pass pawn easily.
Maybe let's show it. Rook c2, king d8, g5. Let's try something. Oh, you don't even take. Yes,
No, feel free to take.
Yeah.
No, this is very simple and easy to calculate. And Alice had enough time. I think she just completely forgot about this move. That's pure blunder.
Wow, and this is such a heartbreaking moment because I'm not even sure that Alice dares to make a move here.
Yeah, she's adjusting to the fact that she's no longer winning. And meanwhile, Anna, it's like, I got lucky. Wow, but they've been playing the rook endgame for past 2 hours or more, and there are so many mistakes and inaccuracies. It just shows how difficult rook endgames are, even for players of this level.
And if you play f4, then black plays f5.
Can I take f5 is definitely the easiest, but you have to calculate that there's opposition.
But that's why I wanted to avoid it.
I'm curious if this is still okay. Scary, right?
Yeah, but by the way, after
this is scary.
No, as I understand, yes, it looks scary, of course. But I thought that after f5, let's say if you play king d3, in the variation that I suggested previously, and if you played king d6, then king d4. Oh.
But okay, I can even take.
Yes, king
I don't
d4.
have to do this.
So king.
Yeah, I think this is the famous type of opposition,
but
diagonal opposition.
I think it's always nice to show it. Yes, that you cannot get to the g6 pawn.
Yeah, you think this way you're forcing me to go here,
but
even here, yes. Unless I go to f7. As long as I keep my king on e file, it's a draw. As soon as I step away, of course, it's over. Wow. It's still so funny to me that they're both wearing the same top. You don't see that often.
Maybe this was the sign which indicated that the game is going to be drawn.
You know, if you believe in signs, this is a clear one. But wow.
Yes, Alice is looking. She's at the board in disbelief now. Like, what else can you do? But because maybe she thought that king f4, but of course Anna has to make this move f6 first.
Yes.
But let's say king
example,
f4,
king f4.
King d6.
Definitely don't let the king go here.
Yes,
only move is
it's
f6.
winning. Yeah, but we need to show it maybe as well. So king d6 and then king g5.
And let's say I go king e5, you make a waiting move, f3. Important, f3, not f4. After f4, I'm sure it's a draw again. But, this move.
Because black cannot play f6, so king e6 has to be played. And
actually, f4 now to kick you back.
Yeah. And maybe f5 now.
f5, that's the way to split the pawns and win one. Yeah, so Anna needs one more technically accurate move after king f4, and that's f6. So I think Alice will start with d7 and put the king. But that's even easier, right, for Anna to defend. Yeah, Alice is down to 5 minutes, but of course she's calculated and figured out that it's a draw.
Because I was looking for another practical chance. If you play king f4, f6, can you play
g4?
No, maybe f3 and then g4. Then g4 here, but you simply go
okay, this is interesting actually. I can't let you take.
Okay, maybe my idea was not so
I have to
strange.
take.
Yes, but I'm taking, so we're king
e6.
Yes, h5. But
okay,
h5,
yeah,
king
h pawn is easy.
Yeah.
And on king e4.
Let's say king
Does f5 work? Yeah, of course. It's if I leave you with the h pawn, it's very easy. Wow, there's just so many lessons from this endgame. She went with d7 as I predicted. Now she's probably gonna go king d5, probably d5, or we'll see.
But let's say king f4, f6 has to be played anyway.
No, king d5. So on the board, and yes, sooner or later f6 needs to be played. She can start with king e7 right now.
But it's easier to play f6 with check.
Yes, yes, it is. All right, 3 minutes for Anna. There is still room for some blunders, but she survived the absolute lost position. If she gives another chance, then okay, Alice will not let it slip away anymore.
So this is going to be the 7th draw for Anna Muzychuk. I don't remember that she had such a long streak of draws in her tournament career. So I will have to ask her about it.
But also, I believe this was the first time she was losing. She equalized easily with black most games, and with white did end up getting an advantage.
But you know, her game against Carissa wasn't the picnic. She was worse.
It wasn't easy.
Yes, it wasn't easy.
But never was losing.
But this is like first you play confidently, then there is now one game where you're worse, and then there is another game where you're lost. So.
And we have a table base now, since there's only few pieces left on the board, and it says position is drawn, drawing moves, f6, and f5 is even a draw. Okay, I wouldn't go f5. Would you play f5 here, Almira, with black?
No.
No. That's a computer move. Play f6 and go king d7. Again, f5 is apparently a draw, but I wouldn't be touching that pawn.
So
yes, of course, she goes king
is
d7. This is how we're taught to play pawn end games. You got to keep the opposition going. And now probably f3. And you can go back king e7. You don't need to touch the f6 pawn, at least not for a while.
But even after f3, king e7, g4, let's say do we play king d7 there? But because then I can take and play.
No, I think I can take, and because you're gonna have a corner pawn now, and just head this way. And if your king comes over, I always have f5. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, there's a losing move here for white, because I didn't think white could possibly lose this. But yeah, of course, if you blunder a pawn, you are gonna lose.
But now look at their accuracy, by the way.
Not bad, even though there were a lot of errors in the end game. Still over 90%.
It's been almost the same, 92.6, 92.
Makes sense why it's going to end in a draw. Okay, so Alice will have 4.5 going into last 2 rounds. She needs 1.5, and she's playing Carissa in the last round.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be a tough task, but she needs to recover from this game. Just don't even analyze this game now. Wait it until the tournament's over, because there's no benefit in analyzing this game and finding your mistakes.
Yes, they're playing for so many hours already.
Move 97. We're going to have our first 100 move game. Okay. 7, so just so to show if white goes this way, then king e6. If you play f4, I go back to d7. And there's just no way to improve. She can try g4, but then actually there is g5. You know those tactics on chess.com?
Oh.
A lot of endgames end like this. But kings are close, so it shouldn't be lost. Yeah, it's just a draw. But I don't have to. Of course, I can just play like this. And then anytime you come too far, I'll play f5. Or even just f5.
But by the way, after g5, if you take on g5?
G5 here?
No, not here, like in the position that you suggested. G5,
here?
Yes.
You now see? I'm winning, yes,
that's what I wanted to show, that black is actually winning. So there is a possibility to lose after g5.
Of course, there's always a possibility. If you start with king e4 and let's say I go king e6 and then you play g4.
That's the position we analyzed, by the way. Yes.
You can still play g5, yeah. Because I'm close enough. Yeah. All right, now Alice has less time than Anna, but not much left to calculate.
What a day. Another rook endgame for Alice, and this will be the only one that she will not win.
And maybe this was the most winning one she had out of the three. Yeah, she can play king e4, king e6, king f4, king d5. I mean, I don't have to play there, but I can just play king d6, g4. Anytime you play g4, I'm going to take, of course, and then head back.
Nazi, you're actually looking at this position from our studio, but you're also looking at this position from the wall.
From the wall?
Yeah, because your picture is on the wall. You see?
You mean behind Alice?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's you're everywhere. The ubiquitous Nazi, yes.
Yeah, I think that picture is from U.S. Championships 2018 that I won. Because I remember I had blonde hair and I was wearing those glasses.
So basically you were me.
Yes, yes, I was cosplaying as you. And there's another picture beneath. It's Jennifer Yu, also a two-time U.S. Women's Champion. And actually, Alice Lee has not won U.S. Women's Championship yet, but she is three-time American Cup winner at only 16.
Yes, but at the same time, and as I was asking myself, if at 16 years old you're already defeating everyone, winning every rook endgame, so what is left there? So, because you need to motivate yourself for future events, you know.
There's always challenges in chess, yeah, and more goals to achieve and harder things to do. She played f4. Of course, for her, next step is GM title.
King d7, yeah.
Probably even f5, but yeah, I'm not touching that pawn unless I have to. That's another like golden rule in endgames in general. Don't move a pawn unless you have to. At least I was taught that. You too?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But here especially, you feel that you don't want to give this square, very important square, e5, even though we know that it's a draw. But just to be sure. You have this opposition, you take it.
Yes. Because white doesn't have any more moves to waiting moves with pawns. So king has to move. Doesn't matter where you go. Actually, it doesn't matter where you go.
No, because f4 is played, so
yeah,
you have to play
stay somewhere here.
King e4.
Okay, let's take a look. I'll let you play f5. Is this winning? I didn't have to, of course, but let's say I allow it.
They have g5 here, yes?
It's
and
still
then
a draw.
h4,
King d4 and just g4, yeah. Actually, white needs to be careful here. Isn't white losing? Oh, you have this stalemate idea.
Okay, this is beautiful.
White is saving it like this.
What a lovely stalemate idea, but king d7 is on the board. So
you can see the way Alice is moving pieces. She's just so done with this game. King e6. I can still play f5, actually. Just maintain the opposition here and you're good. So what would you do? Allow... I think I like king d6 more. I want to play g5.
Okay, but both moves
draws,
lead to the same result.
The only losing move would be f5. Oh my god, it's still not losing. Yes,
we analyzed this position.
Okay, so black really has to try to lose here. Even king e7 is a draw, because on f5, again, I'll go g5. Yeah. Pretty much every move but king c8 draws.
Yes, here it's like unless your opponent drops dead, you know, so murder on the chess floor. Yes, this game is going to be drawn.
Yeah. Move 99, king e4. Yeah, Anna's just double, triple checking everything. Yeah, if even f5 is a draw, then there's not much to calculate.
Hey, and you can't offer a draw.
No,
so you have to play
I mean, why would you offer? Of course, Alice is going to say no. That's one of the most annoying things when you play open tournaments? Because I'm so used to playing these closed events where you can't offer a draw that I forget you're allowed to in opens. And whenever you play a kid, they just start out asking for draws from move 10 and keep offering and offering. It's a terrible habit that kids have. And I'm always wondering, who is your coach? I need to talk to them. You have to have some respect.
Give me his phone number now.
Right.
Yeah, well, actually, it happened to me a few times, but since I don't play a lot of events, in blitz games. It was like, what is it?
In blitz?
Yes.
Okay, that should be punishable somehow.
Sentenced to death.
Anna needs to... Okay. Bit strong. Anna needs to not forget about her clock. Going down to 1 minute. All the moves are drawn. King d6, king e7, king e6, f5. Let me check king e8. Still a draw. Long
but then
opposition.
after f5 you can...
Still g5, right? I mean, I can also take and go king f7, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, 51 seconds. Can you imagine if she just forgets about the clock now?
No, when she goes the 5, okay, because she, of course, rightfully assessed that this endgame is drawn as well. King d5 and
king e7. We're officially reached move 100. So the idea is king e5, king f7, and then
king
you stand
f6.
right here and do not let white king cross the e-file. And white doesn't have a move to waste, a waiting move. If they had something like, if the pawn was on h3, that would be winning. All right, king f7 on the board. We can zoom in maybe on the players and just have one board now and watch the finale. Yes, you can see they're gonna repeat now. Alice is just... how do you think she's... Of course she's devastated, but do you think she's also angry at herself?
Well, let's say you're always angry at yourself, and in chess, who else can you blame?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's that's why this game is so difficult, because of course you're learning so much from such games, but at the end, you always have this dialogue with yourself.
And you don't want your learning moments to come from such an important tournament. Cairns Cup, one of the strongest female tournaments of all time, with one of the biggest prize fund as well. And of course, being so close to the GM norm and just leaving half a point on the table is devastating for sure. They have officially repeated 3 times, but Anna didn't claim yet. But I'm sure she will on the next move. Okay, Alice is trying king c6, so she can't claim it anymore.
King e6.
Of course, king e6 is the only move. And now they will repeat probably king c5, king e7. Yeah. What a save for Anna. I mean, this is a miracle. How long were they playing? Almost 6 hours, 5 hours and 40 minutes. The longest game, for sure?
Yeah, I think this was our longest game so far.
So far, yes. Tournament's not over.
And yes, Anna is looking at the score sheet. Actually, Anna doesn't want to be the one to claim the draw, you know?
But you know, she needs to be the one to claim because she's the one defending, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the right etiquette. But yeah, I think no, she's not claiming. She's just enjoying repeating. Maybe on the next move, just to make sure this was 4 times. Yeah. But at this point, I think the arbiter's even waiting, like, okay, you guys can agree to a draw. And Alice is claiming with king c6. And That's officially a draw. 109 moves. What a long, hard-fought game that ends in a draw. It's a disappointment for Alice. She had winning chances many times. Well, should we look at our standings after today's results? We had 2 decisive games and 3 draws. Zhongyi, the leader, ended up winning with the black pieces, and Bibisara was the only other player who won her game.
So Zhongyi is leading the event. Actually, she was leading from the very start, Nazi. So 5.5 points. A very important win against Divya Deshmukh today. Bibisara Assaubayeva is tied for second with Alice Lee, 4.5 points out of 7. Then we have Muzychuk and Divya Deshmukh and Carissa and Stavroula Tsolakidou on 50%.
Half of the field,
yes, 3.5 out of 7. That's how difficult it is to win a game. And 2, don't even tell me, Humpy, Koneru and Vaishali Rameshbabu are on 2.5 out of 7. And Alexandra Kosteniuk scored her third draw, yes, in the tournament.
All right, and let's have a look at tomorrow's pairings, Almira.
Tomorrow's pairings, we are getting closer. So Zhongyi with the white pieces is taking on Bibisara Assaubayeva. This is going to be an absolute thriller tomorrow. So Vaishali Rameshbabu is playing with the white pieces against Alice Lee, and actually I was thinking that Vaishali could be this troublemaker. Yes, tomorrow Carissa is taking on Stavroula Tsolakidou. Humpy Koneru with the white pieces is playing against Divya Deshmukh, and Muzychuk is facing Alexandra Kosteniuk with the white pieces.
Yeah, definitely a big matchup on board 1 there tomorrow. Technically, if Zhongyi wins tomorrow, she could guarantee herself at least playoffs.
Exactly, and we all know how good she is with the white pieces, so she only drew 1 game and won the rest.
Yeah, so definitely don't miss tomorrow's round. We'll see you again at the same time. Thank you so much for watching, and good night from St. Louis.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.